Well, then I guess that means I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues.
So many issues.
And today, on Guys with Issues, we're going to talk about Action Comics from the New 52, written by Grant Morrison.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is actually
Superman.
the
Superman.
second thing we have read from Grant Morrison.
It is.
I had to look it up because I'm like,
'Cause it was
that
Shazam.
name. Yeah, that name sounds real familiar.
Yeah. Yep.
So I went
That's
back
cool.
through.
I did not recognize the name at all.
You didn't remember that?
Heck no.
What?
How dare you?
Will doesn't listen to the podcasts. I don't just pay attention. Remember?
What?
Exactly. That's how it works.
Oh, man.
That's how the magic happens.
Hey, Will.
Hey,
How's your New Year's resolution going about, we're 2 weeks in, have you listened to any episodes?
nope, I forgot about that. I must have said it on the podcast.
Yeah, you said it on
Well-
the New Year's.
To be fair, I said you should do that, and you said there's no way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You didn't,
Yeah.
You didn't actually.
So you're
correct.
actually doing very well on your
You-
resolution of not listening.
have stayed resolute to your guns of not participating in the audience. Yes.
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 So, before we get into action, before we get into the action, we're going to talk about nonsense like always. And we did remember that Patrick went to an Asian fusion restaurant.
I did.
What was it called?
Zing.
And what did you think?
I thought it was really good.
Really good?
Yeah, I probably spent too much money, but I thought it was really good. I
Any-
enjoyed all the things I got.
Anything that has a description of fusion in their restaurant title or
Sure.
description is going to be expensive.
It's fair.
If you use fusion, it's not going to be cheap. They're like, it's an extra $5 to use that word.
Pretty much. Yeah, it was really good, though. I enjoyed
What'd you
it.
get?
I got,
Will and I want to know.
I got 2 different sushi rolls, and I got some miso soup, and some,
That is really good.
what was it? It was a tea of some sort. It was a tea I've never had before. Barley tea.
Barley tea?
Yes.
What was that like?
Delicious, and I would like more of it.
Barley tea. I've had barley soup.
It was very earthy, and it was.
Oh, you were drinking mud?
I was drinking mud.
Hey, that's a thing. I see ads for it on YouTube all the time.
Don't do
Mud
that.
water.
Mud water. Yeah, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't take health advice from a podcast about comics.
We're not talking about health. I said I see an ad.
Yeah, but that's what people say.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
really dumb. Yeah.
What, mud water?
Right.
Is that the mushroom thing?
No, I think it's literal mud.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's a thing.
I know that I've
Well, I mean-
seen there's a mushroom drink that's supposed to be like coffee for people that.
Right. I've heard that. That's fine.
I think it's mud with 2 D's.
Sure.
Try to
But there's
differentiate
actual
yourself.
mud in it?
There is a portion of the internet that people are selling other people mud and dirt to drink.
Wow.
Yes.
Did your barley tea have any mud in it?
I don't believe so.
You're like,
But now I'm wondering.
it
No, it was
earthier than
really
I-
good. I really enjoyed it.
Well, that makes sense because it had to have been. So it was like a savory tea. Like it was.
Yeah,
very-
yeah, very. Yes.
Really?
It's more like a broth.
I almost want to go back now. So thank you for reminding me.
That's what I was going to
Well,
ask. Is
we
did
all
it
will go
taste more
back.
like broth?
It was a bit brothy.
Really?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit. Like a very light broth, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I know there are some like juice places that will sell bone broth. Like you just get a cup of bone
Well,
broth
yeah.
Oh,
to
yeah,
drink.
I've done that. Just, go to the grocery store. You don't have to go places.
Well, you have to go to the grocery store
Unless you're really
unless you want to make your own
make
bone
your
broth.
own bone
You
broth.
can do that.
And raise your own whatever you're making the bone broth out of.
You'd still have to go to the store for feed.
You can raise your own feed.
Wow. the
You could
seeds.
technically do it.
You'd have to
without
technically
going to the
you'd
store.
have to,
You
you'd
could-
have to start with one store trip for seeds.
You wouldn't.
I mean, hay fields, you could.
You know,
I'm
steal
just
from
saying,
other
Sort
people.
you could technically do it without going to a store. I don't recommend it. I don't think it's a good idea. It'll take you years. Just go to the store.
and pay like $3
I'd
for
pay
a,
like
for a thing of stock or something.
$3 to $5, whatever it is now, since prices are stupid.
Yeah. But overall, so you had good sushi, you had good tea.
Oh yes,
What did your companions get? The ladies who were with you?
I believe they got a bento box
Oh, okay.
and a couple of soups, and I don't really remember.
How was their miso there? Comparable to anywhere or
I would say comparable to
Okay.
just about anywhere. It was good. It was tasty.
miso's pretty
I
standard.
need to get me some miso paste so I can
I've-
make my own soup.
I've done that before. We've made miso at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's super easy.
Yeah,
Yeah. But so you enjoyed it.
I did.
Will has a look on his face like
So
he
I
wants to
love
say
the-
so many puns or something.
I do. It's the word miso.
I was gonna say he wants to say miso something,
Yeah.
and
Just
and then we said super to soup, and I just imagine he probably
really was the phrase, I make miso at home. Make miso what at home?
comfortable
Mm.
if everything's ideal. Usually I make me so tired at home.
Oh my!
No, not unless you're
Oh.
buying it like laundry and dishes.
I am. I am. Right.
That's funny.
Ooh, my responsibilities.
But yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
So would you go back then, other than the tea?
yeah. I would try probably the bento box.
You wouldn't necessarily get like the sushi again.
The reason it was so expensive was the special sushi rolls that I got.
Yeah,
And they were very good, and I would like to eat them again, but I was thinking maybe a bento box the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sushi rolls, especially if they're not the basic ones, at nicer Japanese places are always expensive.
Right.
I mean, at least for our income. The three of us sitting in this room, that would be considered on the pricier side of things.
Yes, but it was a special occasion, so
Right?
I got what I wanted.
And how was your movie that you saw?
I don't know.
How do you not know?
Well, you see, it was a musical. A, it was a musical, which I didn't know about.
I didn't know that either.
B, every time a musical number would start, the background music overpowered the main lyrics of the song. So I don't know. It could have been a great movie. Maybe not. I don't know, because I only heard 50% of it.
Wow. You went and watched, what was it, The Color Purple?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say the color purple.
Color purple.
But
Bring it back.
yeah, that's a shame.
It is.
Like it stinks to go to a movie and the sound mix to be off.
Yeah, I wanted.
That's frustrating.
I wanted to be honest. I probably would never have watched it again.
Mm-hmm.
But now I kind of want to watch it at home to see if it was a sound mix in the theater,
Oh, or to see if it was like the mix that they
or
did
to
for
see
the
if
track.
right.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I don't know, but I don't know if I'm interested enough to watch it again.
So, very short tangent on sound mixing for movies, because a lot of people will complain when they stream a movie that there are scenes where you can barely hear people, like, or if you're watching it on headphones, like on your phone or your tablet. And there's an interesting science behind how they do the mix for the movie theater and how most of them do not change that for the basic releases. And because of the speaker setup and locations specifically engineered for sound in theaters, they will then have a problem when they're on normal streaming and on television because the lows will be too low, and that's why so many movies end up. You feel like you almost have to turn subtitles on.
Oh,
to
my
catch
mom
everything.
does.
It has to do with a problem with how they mix for modern theaters versus the release that comes for home.
I feel like we've talked about this.
Maybe. I don't know. I watched a video on it.
We do talk about a lot of things.
We do. I don't remember this being on the podcast.
No, I mean you and I.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
Right.
on the
No,
podcast.
not on the podcast.
And I said, I don't believe we did. You and I probably did talk about that because I watched the video. Like this would have been months and months ago.
Sure.
And I probably was like, Patrick, you'll think this is really interesting.
Right.
And so, most likely.
Sounds
I
like
told
our
him.
interactions
Yeah,
a
right.
lot. Yeah.
You like hearing stuff? Let me tell you about this thing I learned about hearing.
What?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway,
I'm here to help.
yeah, because you work in IT. That's like your main role.
Right. Well, it used to be. I kind of put that off to my underlings.
Now you delegate as a good leader should.
Sure.
As my leadership emails have been focused on
Right.
delegation.
I've noticed.
That's funny. So, Will, do you have anything to talk about? Did you do anything since the last time we saw you?
I did. I went and watched the Godzilla -1 movie.
Oh, that's right. Because I
was-
almost said I was going to try to go with you, but you said you guys were going super late at night.
Yeah. We went kind of late on a Saturday night. It was like a 9 p.m. showing.
And that's why I didn't go.
That's fair.
The movie got out 11:15, I think.
Oof.
Yeah. It was like
Did you
one.
doze at all, or were you good?
No, I was good.
Good.
We went to Toyo Grill
Ooh,
right there on Edison.
I've been
It's-
there.
It's
I have not.
a good little hole in the wall.
It's very good. I had the sushi boat. My sister and my older
Oh.
sister and I went, and we split the cost of a sushi boat.
Because you'd have to.
Do you? Yeah, because they're
Because it's like, and the price went up because they put this little like white sticker over it and wrote a new price, and it's
Oh,
like
that's nice.
$175 or
what?
something. Or maybe like 160. It's a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay, when we went, it was like 80 or 90, but
It's-
this would have
it's-
been like 15 years ago.
That's fair.
Yeah. I also got a couple sushi rolls that were delicious.
Yeah, their sushi is good. So you both had sushi recently.
Heck yeah.
Did you also have miso?
I did not have any miso.
Did you have any tea?
I did because in that same
You guys
plaza,
are twinning ever since Christmas. There's so many.
right? In that same plaza where Toyo is, there's this place called Kung Fu Tea,
Uh-huh.
and I was with my brother and my sisters.
Did they have
Did-
the lazy kung fu teapots where you like turn a spigot and it fills your stuff?
Do they have
No,
like panda decorations?
maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Yeah, we,
so you had tea there.
after Toyo went around and we all got tea,
Yeah.
I had a honey oolong milk tea.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
I had
That
an
was-
oolong tea last weekend.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, we're
I-
triplets now. But yeah, I've never had oolong tea
I
before.
hadn't either.
And I'm like, I'll try this. And with honey, it's very fruity. Like,
Yeah, I've had it before.
Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't put anything in mine, and it just tastes like normal tea then. Like, almost like, just like Lipton, you brewed it. Like, it just reminded me of normal, like, black tea is the vibe I got. But it was completely normal, basic oolong with nothing in it.
Oh. There you go.
Wow.
wow.
This has become a tea podcast.
Yeah. We're a bunch of teapots.
The
We do seem to like that.
teapot. The teapot is the name of the communication device in the 2011 Ninja Turtles, and
Oh, is
they
it?
call it the teapod for their cell phones.
That's funny.
Weird. But yeah, then we went down because in that same plaza is Warehouse Comics.
Oh, and that's where you. So you text.
Yeah.
You went to the comic shop before the movie.
Yeah, we had some time to kill.
Yeah, because you text me at like 7 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. And it's where I found your comics, and they have all kinds of like Funko Pops, action figures. They had some like rare collectible comics. I saw one that was like $1,500. I'm like, not for me. Their online store sold a rare comic for like $35.
Wow. Yeah, they probably don't display that.
Yeah, I know.
It's in the back room in a safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we talking? 35 cents? $35?
$3,500.
That's a lot more than 35 cents.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
That is a fact. So
I believe you.
And yeah,
Yeah,
so
it was packed in there too because they were playing. I think they had like a Magic the Gathering tournament going on.
That
so
doesn't surprise me.
there were a lot
many
of-
comic shops also are game stores
Right.
for Magic or Hero Clicks.
Right.
yeah, and then they had a bunch of minis And this whole back room that looked like it was set up for Dungeons and Dragons. And
Cool.
then we went to then we went and watched.
So it's basically
Gojira.
like Chimps in Mishawaka.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
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 How was Gojira -1?
It was really good. I liked it.
Well, I'm glad you got to see it and that it was good. I also went and had tea, like the two of you.
Nice.
What a fun coincidence, though.
A coincidence.
Like, what? None of us go out and get tea like that on anything that would be considered a regular basis.
Nope.
At all. So the fact that all three of us did is crazy.
It really is kind of crazy.
It is serendipitous. It is a total chance of a good thing.
Right.
So my wife and I attended high tea in Niles, Michigan at a shop called Apotheca Tea. And high tea consists of, you got this really good mushroom and brie soup and this tiered 3 courses of like finger foods, like very traditional, like you got your scone, is that what I got? I think. And your like clotted cream and your raspberry preserve. And then you had this puff pastry that had stuff that kind of made it taste like a little mini pizza. And you had finger sandwiches with Granny Smith apple and Havarti cheese on cinnamon swirl bread. And there was goat cheese. It said cheesecake. They were like mini, like bite-sized things. And they had this juniper, like this. It almost reminded me of like candied onion, but it said it was juniper. And then there was a red velvet cupcake and this cream that was almost like a cross between pudding and frosting. It was chocolate and delicious. And there were these cherry shortcakes with cherry frosting, and it was good. And you got 2 pots of tea, plus an additional, they give you a teapot for your table that's like the tea of the day, and that was the oolong.
Oh,
So,
nice.
and then I got this tea called Indigo Blue that Patrick has now tried,
I have.
and it's super, super smelly good
It is tasty.
and tasty. But my
what does
wife
it taste
and I,
like?
Well,
Describe it.
I would say it a bit
I think
fruity.
it is fruity because I think the lemon and the apple come through.
Right, they do.
And it's this cool blue color because of this butterfly pea blossoms, PEA. Because every time I say it to people, they're like, butterfly what? And I'm like, it's...
You had a butterfly do what in your tea?
And
That
so...
poor butterfly.
but yeah, it was... And my wife got this apple cinnamon tea. And then I had Lady Grey, which I didn't know was a thing.
Yeah.
Because it's Earl Grey, but with lavender, basically. It's not as strong as...
It has less bergamot in it. That's
which
the
is what you
technical
like about
definition of
your...
Lady Grey.
Well, this had additional lavender.
That's fine.
Which is what I liked.
Oh.
That's why I got it. Instead of getting normal Earl Grey or something, because I was just going to get like a basic black tea.
Sure.
But yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. You get a table for like 2 hours when you make your reservation. I bought some loose leaf tea to bring back and to share. I got this turmeric ginger chai tea, and I tried it last night, and it's okay. I'm glad I didn't get the whole pot of it there. Yeah, I don't like it nearly as much as the indigo punch. So,
But ginger and turmeric are supposed to be like very like health beneficial for
yes.
you.
So I drink a lot of teas that have both of those things.
Yeah.
Turmeric teas I like because they remind me of eating like curry and things like that. It has that vibe. I have a peach ginger turmeric that is awesome. And I have a honey ginger turmeric that's really good. But this chai one, it's decent, but I don't like it nearly as much as the other
Sounds like
ones
the
I've
chai.
But see, I
the
like
chai-
chai tea.
But
I
maybe the
also do.
chai with the ginger and turmeric. Not everything goes together.
Maybe, but
Maybe.
But I don't know. It was still good. It's not that it's bad. I just wouldn't buy it again. I like it enough that I will drink what I bought, but it won't be one that I'm like, like this indigo punch. I would get it every time I go up there. I like it that much.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Because the smell is so strong, but the tea's a lot lighter than what you expect it
It
to
is.
be. But anyway, tea talk.
Anyway.
High tea talk. And we had Japanese
I was
tea.
wondering if
I want to know what barley tea tastes like now, man.
I want to know if the owner of High Tea is named Heidi.
It's apotheca tea. High tea is like the thing.
Oh, never mind.
The event.
Yes. High tea is a traditional like afternoon thing.
So I've been to this place.
Have you?
Apothecary
Yeah,
Teas.
coincidentally, I was talking about it and he goes, I went there. And
I didn't go
and it's
to
an hour away, so that's pretty coincidental.
Yeah, I didn't go to high tea when I went there. I just went in and
No, you had a pot of tea,
Right.
I'm guessing.
yeah.
Yeah. So the front end looks like a coffee shop, right?
Right, that's the only place that I was in.
Yeah. And then this big side room is like a conservatory looking room where they do high tea. So it's a little more formal. They have a little china cabinet in the back, and they tell you to go pick out your teacup that you want to use. And so I go back there. My wife picks one with these like lavender flowers that looks like a teacup she has at home. And it's like normal sized. Everybody's drinking normal sized teacups.
Sure.
And I'm looking because the waitress said, go back and pick a cup and just pick the cup that makes you happy. And I looked at my wife, and being the way I can be sometimes, I said, what if I can't find a cup that makes me happy? And she was like, well, then just pick one. And so we go back, and I'm looking, and a lot of them are just like traditional white, floral, like teacups.
Stereotypical teacups.
Now, then there were some that looked like handmade clay mugs. One of them had a face molded on it. It was pretty cool.
Yes.
There was one that was a big bowl with two handles and like a dragon on it. It looked like something you drink sake out of.
Sweet.
And I almost picked that. And then I looked down and I see this awesome cup. It was black and white with a matching saucer, black and white pattern alternating, and with this gold filigree. And what caught my eye was the shape. So instead of being round like all the other cups,
It was square.
it was almost shaped like an iron cross, because wherever there was white, it indented instead. It was convexing instead of concaving instead of convexing, and so it had like this really cool look. And so that's what I picked. But it also happened to be the smallest teacup in the cabinet. And you guys know, I have fairly large hands,
And you're a big drinker.
and that actually helped me slow down and sip and enjoy everything.
Oh.
It was a
at that.
positive thing. But I'm going to show you, Will, just how small this teacup is.
Show my eyeballs.
It was so small that I couldn't fit my pinky inside the handle. You just had to pinch the handle. You did.
Oh, look at that. A
Yeah.
gentleman's cup.
Yes, it was very, very tiny. It was
Oh, that is very tiny.
It was, yeah. So
It's like a shot glass almost.
I would,
Yeah, it's very
it
similar
was
to that.
probably very close to the size of a shot glass.
Yes.
But yeah, so it was comical. My wife was laughing as I was using it, but I liked it, and it made me feel dainty in
So
a good
the,
way, in a manly daint.
So when I
He
was
man-dainted.
when I was at Zing, the teacup that they gave me was about half the size of a shot glass.
So it was smaller than mine.
Yes.
Did you get a pot with it?
Yes.
Then? Okay.
Yes, I did.
And they're like, here. So
I would literally take it, like this big. That's how round it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat just apologized to the
Shot.
mic.
And I'd set it down and I'd fill it up again.
Wow.
Or sometimes I'd take 2 sips out of it. But that was like literally as big as it was.
Yeah. So if I cup my hand went almost the entire
Yeah. No, the
circumference
other
around
one
it.
was smaller than that. The one I had.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was literally
And
2
your
sips.
hands are about the same size as mine. Like they're very similar. Your fingers are thicker, but our hands are similar in length.
Oh my. But yes, they are.
So that must have also been comical to your friends.
Oh yes, they thought it was hilarious. And I was like, I really like cute things, so I like this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, isn't it weird though? Because I kind of like when I was drinking from mine, I was kind of like, I kind of like this.
I know, right? It's cool.
It almost
It's hilarious.
I think
like-
it's because it almost makes you approach things differently than you
Oh
normally
yeah,
would.
100%.
Like when I have a big mug of beer, if it's got a handle, like I grab the handle, like my hand's in the handle, not holding it. You know what I mean? Like I grab the cup.
Right.
And like you drink and you're like, ah, beer. But then like when you have to pinch a teacup's handle and your fingers stick it makes you approach the whole experience differently.
Mine didn't even have a handle.
No, you had to hold it by pinching the cup.
I had to pinch the cup. Yeah, it was.
And Will's thinking, you guys are so...
I'm thinking people laugh at, you see a small car drive up.
With a large man in it.
And like a big guy like Pat would get out.
Those the really,
Smarts?
really small cars, smart cars that battery powered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about
the
buying
smart.
one of those.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be hilarious.
I have a friend that used to have it. I had a friend that had one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I rode in it with him. We're both 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
You're taller
I heard
than
there's
that.
a lot of room in those
It's
things.
surprising. It's because the engine is actually in the back.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is crash tests are terrible from the front because
sure.
your legs are gone then.
Right. I never bought one, but I thought about it. 'Cause
You would fit in one.
mainly for the entertainment value of everybody else.
But anyway,
Anyway.
Anywho.
Patrick has his thinking
It doesn't
face on. He looked very intense.
It
He
doesn't
had to go
matter.
into his hard drive and search through his photo history and be like,
My photo history.
So anyway,
Anyway.
Anywhere is here right now.
So,
We read Action Comics from the New 52.
yeah, we did.
And Will's going to have a synopsis. So while he
Yeah.
pulls that up, I'm going to say that Grant Morrison is known for this run. This isn't what he's known for overall. He's written a bunch of stuff.
I think he
he's
got an
known for.
award for something.
Yeah, he's gotten a few, I believe.
Yeah,
So-
good job, Grant.
But
We know you're listening, right?
But before we get into it, and even before you read this, okay, you have to know something. And that's that many people consider his run on this. This was a 52 issue comic. When they did the New 52, many of them ran for 52 issues. And he wrote the first 18. And the first 18 are their own story, kind of. And then it continues on from there. But it's kind of a single, if you read all 18, so if you read along with us and thought, I kind of enjoyed that, read to 18. Keep going. Because most people say that this is the best comic run as far as his first 18 issues that came out of all of the New 52.
Oh,
and I
wow.
believe the New 52
Wow.
did 52 different issues, title launches.
Nice.
Yeah, that includes the Aquaman we read, and it includes the Court of Owls Batman stuff that we haven't read yet, but most people know about. And it has some Green Lantern that I really liked. But anyway, yeah, just to start out, I wanted to say I did some research, and this is
Cool.
considered by many people to be top tier if you read the whole 18.
Awesome.
So, you want to tell us what the first
All right.
8 were about?
I remembered. So, a young Clark Kent begins his crime-fighting journey in the city of Metropolis. During his day job, he writes for a newspaper trying to expose the wicked and corrupt through journalism. Only when the need arises for a hero to punch stuff and shoot eye lasers does he don his cape and become Batman.
Batman?
Ah, yes, Clark Kent is Batman.
My brain went, what?
Yeah.
Hey, Will, I think we read something different than you did.
What? Anyway, Superman. Yeah. He dons his cape and becomes Superman. Like when an alien invasion of Earth sees the city trapped inside a bottle by the Collector.
By Brainiac. Anyway.
I liked the Collector because it matches the theme of our podcast better.
I mean, he does call himself the Collector first.
He does, but
And I know
the
it's
Collector
Brainiac.
is technically from...
Anyway, during his conflict, Superman discovers the rocket that sent him to Earth and learns who he really is and where he came from. But is the last son of Krypton strong enough to defeat the internet? Find out today on Guys with Issues.
That was amazing.
That was good. That redeemed all of your
Now you know
bubbles.
The internet.
I liked that part when he's like, on your Earth, I was known as the internet.
I cracked up.
Especially,
I'm like, oh, he got all of it then.
well, nowadays, with all this AI overlord stuff.
I know, right?
I was
Actually-
like, oh, Brainiac's real.
The first thing I
getting
thought
there.
of was when IBM took Watson.
Yeah.
And then they took the Urban Dictionary and uploaded it to the AI Watson. And he just started like swearing and calling people about it. And he basically turned into like a moody teenager.
Sure.
And they had to do a reboot and like restore him to a previous version because they couldn't make him unlearn all that
Why
stuff.
would you teach him with that, though?
Because a bunch of nerds were like, hey, what if?
There was
And they
A
had
bunch
the
of nerds like the guys in this room.
there was an AI chatbot that Microsoft released upon the world. They had to bring it down 2 days later because it started being very racist and
Because it learns from the internet.
oh man, the internet really screwed that chatbot up.
I think the internet, that's just a good cautionary tale of what the internet really represents.
It is. It really is.
It should have access to everything but comment
Because the
sections.
thing is, it's mostly bored teenagers that would interact with something like that, and you know what they're going to do.
Well, they're going to intentionally try to make it say and
Oh,
think
yeah,
things
of
that are
course.
stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So what'd you guys think? Yay, nay?
okay.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought there were spots in there that were extremely confusing.
Oh,
I thought it
I'm
was
glad I
okay.
wasn't the only one. I was going to say I was
Welcome
confused.
to Grant Morrison.
Yeah,
If you remember from our Shazam issue,
I don't.
I said that I don't like Grant Morrison overall. Once in a while, I'll like something he does, but the majority of what he does gets really wonky. And I know
it's just
people
all-
that think he's really good, and I think he is. I think he can tell
So,
a good story,
I
but he
think-
can't tell it with good continuity.
I was going to say, if you, like you said, if you read all 18,
It might make
Maybe.
more sense at the end.
I hear
think
the
he
end
was-
is a huge payoff to everything that comes first.
That's cool.
Also, a lot of what happens in this is based on the golden age and silver age of Superman. So he almost all the ideas and characters and different things that he does are taken from the original old days of Superman comics. So it is a bit of an homage, I think, for people who really like it. And some people think this is a good jumping on point. I think it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
meh.
I think we know who's going to have the lowest score of the night. But what were? Did you have any parts that you liked or you wanted to talk about a little bit? It was I thought I wasn't sure I liked Superman's persona in the beginning, like the first issue
Yeah,
or
that
two.
was-
I was like,
He just seemed like a punk kid with powers.
because he kind of is
He is.
at that point.
Right.
Fresh from the farm.
Yeah, thinking that he can spout something in a newspaper and then go out and don the cape and try to make it happen in real life.
Right. But I feel like he does that his entire career.
His entire career? You mean because he's a journalist?
Right.
Now, I did say, or I did think that this captured some of the good qualities of Superman.
I did.
I think it's interesting that I think he sees journalism as being on equal footing or even better than having powers,
Right.
which I think is cool. I thought that was a cool observation. And this also really shows that he, I want to say it does connect well with his side of humanity,
I think so.
like seeing himself as somebody from Earth, even though
Right.
he's not from Earth. But yeah, so did you have like any parts you wanted to talk about? I feel like when we're meh, we usually don't have as much to say.
I mean, we could
I
talk
took
about
some
why
notes.
it's meh.
Why
'Cause
wasn't
it was
meh to
it was
you?
like you had these first few issues where it kind of sets up the beginning, and then there's this one where it's just random, like they're from the future, and
yes.
it was
so
so jarring because
and it
I'm
was
like,
so
what?
Grant Morrison. That was so.
I'm
Grant
like,
Morrison.
this has to be a thing.
Are you talking
because-
about when the Legion showed up and they were with him?
The League of Superheroes. I don't
The
know.
Legion.
Is that what the Legion of
whatever
Superheroes-
they're called?
Whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was future him
It
with
was
them.
future him with them,
And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm from 5 years in the future. So I'm like, okay, so probably by the end of this comic, it's going to go into the future 5 years. And then this whole thing will come back.
But technically, they did finish it all in those 8. like what they were dealing with in that part, though.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, with like the collector.
Right.
And like the
I
ship
agree.
and all of that.
I agree, but I don't.
The Legion's from the year 3000, I believe.
Sure, I just don't know why it needed to be in there.
Because he's bringing in everything that Superman has in his history. I don't know. I didn't read to 18. I bet it plays into 18.
I hope so. Because if not, then it was weird.
Grant Morrison. It was Grant Morrison. This is why I said it before. He is one of the most acclaimed comic writers that I am the least fan of.
And then also a more of like a technical thing is like some of his bubbles. Like when they capture Superman, they strap him to a chair and they're kind of doing experiments. They're like electrocuting
Which
him.
that was a good scene.
Right.
It was a good scene, but like I had to read it a few times to figure out who's actually talking in this bubble because there's no like direct lines going to anybody. And so sometimes it's Lex talking, but then a few times it's like Clark talking.
I don't know. I didn't
I
feel
thought-
like I had any issues with that.
I thought that was it. It just depended on which side of the glass you were on. It was the microphone.
I don't know because I think there was one where they were looking at him right before he escapes and he's talking to them, but you're on the other side of the glass.
Speaking of escape,
Yeah.
the escape scene was cool.
The escape
I thought
scene
that was cool. I also liked when he was like, "You guys can't hold me." I don't. So they quote that in the Man of Steel movie. They're like, because he has that part where he lets them take him in.
Sure.
When he gives up, and he's like, "You guys don't have anything that can contain me."
And he gets up and he's just like,
Yeah,
pulls his
handcuffs
arm.
off.
Yeah.
And that was, I believe that movie came after this comic, and I think they took that dialogue from this.
Actually, there's a cool little Easter egg in that scene in the movie, The Man of Steel, because when he does that, everybody behind the interrogation glass kind of steps back except for one guy. And then when you watch Justice League, the Snyder Cut, you're supposed to find out that guy is Martian Manhunter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like he doesn't have a whole lot to be afraid of. But
No, right? But yeah, I thought the escape scene was cool. I also liked watching Lex Luthor have the military torture Superman to
Right.
try to determine what his tolerances were and what he could, like, trying to find what he was susceptible to.
Oh, he's calling Superman it.
Yeah, he does not
Yeah.
believe that he is a him because
He
he
doesn't
sees
believe
him.
he's human.
Well, because he's not.
Right.
He sees him as an alien being than a creature. Also, the fact that they have that goat, and they're like, and he's like, "This is what you really look like,
Right.
isn't it?" That was funny because then an issue or two later, you find out where the goat came from, and that was brilliant.
That was
brilliant.
Right.
But again, that's the thing. Sometimes Grant Morrison can be on, and when he is, you're like, "Wow, that was good," and then he gets weird. He has to make weird, convoluted stuff. He just cannot make things normal. But he does have a love for the Golden and Silver Age, and he will try to incorporate things like that. But anyway, did you have other things that you liked about it?
I like the whole when he jumped into outer space.
When they talked about how fast he had to go,
Heck yeah.
he's like, well, I've never had to run any faster.
they're like, "You've never gone over 600 miles per hour." And he's like, "I've never had to." Yeah.
And his shoes were falling apart and everything else.
Yeah,
that was really
literally,
cool.
that was cool.
Yeah.
And then I like how he did a final push off a satellite once he was in
I know,
space.
right? I was
That
thinking to myself, man, they just lost that satellite.
Yep. Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
No, that part was really fun.
It was.
There were a lot of fun parts.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it captured Superman's character pretty well. Except for the first couple issues where I went, I don't know if I like him. But I think I read some of these back when the New 52 had started. And I didn't really like him back then.
Well, there you go.
So like, wow, past me was correct. But I'd have to go back and look. But there's one comic where the people from the future show up, and it's titled like When Superman Learns to Fly.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I
Right.
don't think he actually ever flies.
That's
He
when
does.
he does at the end when they
At
give him
very
the
end
ring.
When they give him the ring. Yep.
The Legion
Does he
ring.
actually? Okay. I'm like,
It
didn't make any sense because he only flies like one time.
At the very end. He only flies under his own power at the end. With the Legion ring, so the Legion of superheroes, the rings they have, give them the ability of flight.
Yeah, that's what they said.
And in that scene, they give him one, and he does fly in that issue. So it says learn to fly, but he doesn't. He himself, under his own locomotion, does not fly. But he does with the ring.
Right.
And so that's the idea, is that they knew him as a kid. You really didn't like this, I can tell.
It was okay. I mean, there were a few things I like because they kind of set up the idea that depending on what star like a Kryptonian is next to, kind of depends on how strong they are or what they can do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
The reason Superman is powerful is because we have a yellow sun.
Yeah.
That is literally why. It is the radiation from our sun that gives him superpowers.
Right.
So they do a pretty good job in telling, kind of explaining his abilities and like how they work and that kind of stuff and his weaknesses without it being too much like exposition that feels forced, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't
just
think there
like-
was a lot of exposition.
No,
in
there
this.
wasn't.
No. It's not like X-Men.
I like
90s X-Men.
that's our bar. Is 90s X-Men is how we judge exposition. That's when we know that there's too much.
I'm just glad it was X-Men that did the exposition.
I know,
because
right?
It's
It's too perfect.
It really is.
I thought it was cool that his ship created the Fortress of Solitude, like the crystals.
Yes.
I thought that was cool.
Yep.
And that so in this, his first fortress is a space station, not the Arctic.
Right.
I thought that was kind of cool.
That's where he went for Solitude at first.
Yeah, that was. I like when Lois asks Superman, "Where do you go to be alone?" And he's
Right.
like, "Well, I don't know where to be alone."
And then
he creates
at
the
the
fortress.
very
of
end, he
Solitude.
creates it in orbit.
That was good.
It was
Again,
very good.
Those moments.
Yeah.
There are great moments.
There are.
It's
I
just
agree.
not consistently
But
great.
they're fleeting. They come and then they go.
Just like Superman.
He's fleeting. His
And
landlord, knowing that
Batman.
he was.
The landlord
That-
was great.
That was funny. That might be like one of my favorite parts.
When she hands him his cape.
Yeah, and then like when they're
Tells-
talking at the
says,
end.
"Hey, you're alien." Yeah,
Right?
I liked her.
I'll save that for favorite scenes.
A little later, huh?
Yeah. I gotta hold something back.
I like the scene when he is fighting on Brainiac's ship. And he like gets hit into the city and they're all like, ah! and Luthor's like, I don't want him to save us.
I know, right? This is gonna end bad. I just know it.
I just like that Lex Luthor is like, I would rather be held in captivity and kept safe from whatever terror is coming than to have Superman save me.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a good one. All the Futures characters were kind of weird. The small guy with the kryptonite engine,
Yes, the one that was trying to sell it.
yeah, that was trying to sell the kryptonite to people,
Right.
and the K people who each were
Anti-Superman army.
yeah, and to the K people, the K men who were each like representation of a different color of kryptonite.
Yeah, it sounds like a Korean pop band.
K men.
The Cayman. Or a crocodile.
Or a series of islands.
Or a series of
The
islands.
K men.
Get it?
Oh, but what is it like when they go? They came in, but do they go? I'm sorry.
Not until they get done with their song.
Oh, that is a terrible series of jokes that we just.
You're welcome,
Those
everyone.
were really bad. But yeah, all that stuff, I was just like, this has to matter by issue 18.
Right, I was
but
just
it's
like-
so
It was so out of left field.
yes, and that's where I feel like most of Grant Morrison's thoughts come from.
Left field.
Yeah.
Left field. Also, I thought it was interesting that they referenced him having, well, I assumed it was Crypto, the dog,
Right.
because they're like, oh, you have a white ghost protecting you. And it made me wonder if it was a reference to the fact he has a white dog from Krypton that is like supposed to help him.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That one totally random scene of him walking through the park and somebody saying the thing about the white ghost. I was like,
It was a homeless lady.
Dude, I flipped a page back going, why is he walking through the park in this panel? Like, it was totally random.
Yeah.
It was totally random.
Totally random.
Or it felt totally random. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's in the next 10.
But it felt really random.
So anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, do you guys have anything else you want to say? Any criticisms? So we said we don't like the continuity,
I think
and
we'll
that
get
a
to
lot
some
of ideas come
criticisms
sideways.
later.
Okay.
I think it's time to get into
The
structure.
structure.
Steve.
Okay. Did we have a favorite scene?
So I don't have a specifically favorite scene. There were a lot of good scenes in it.
Okay.
But
There were some great scenes.
I really enjoyed everything with, well, and I can't think of their names right now, Clark's parents.
Jonathan and Martha.
All that stuff that happened. Especially the whole when they found the kid.
Dude.
And then did the whole.
When they showed that they tried to adopt and they did in vitro
I know,
and they did
man,
all
it
that
was-
stuff, I felt emotional.
I know.
Like
So
these
did I.
people were going
They were
through
really trying
stuff,
it. And
wanting a child,
Yep.
and then they find Superman. That was so
it was
well
good.
done.
It was really well done.
So well done. Yep. What do you say, Will?
I like the end when he's talking to his landlady. And
When she knows.
she knows, she already gave him the cape. And then,
She was talking about the artist.
yeah, she talked about the artist. She's like, yeah, he was gay the whole time. Everyone thought he was straight.
She's
Whatever.
like, I kept his secret.
Yeah.
That was her point.
Right.
And then she's like, are you Superman pretending to be Clark? Or are you Clark pretending to be Superman?
That was good.
That was a good question.
Because this is something I read a long time ago. One of the things that make heroes like Superman and Wonder Woman kind of unique is that Superman is Superman. He's pretending to be Clark, right? Where Batman is actually Bruce Wayne and his alter ego is Batman.
See, I would say the opposite. I would actually say the complete opposite of that. Clark is the real person.
Right.
Clark is who was raised by Jonathan and Martha and the farm boy and the reporter, and he has these godlike powers that allow him to make a difference, and he chooses to do that because he's Clark Kent, where Bruce Wayne is the mask that Batman wears. That Bruce is the alter
because
ego.
Clark is an alien,
Sure.
right? So technically his alter ego is as a regular person.
But he doesn't identify as an alien. I mean, he does in some stories when they want him to feel out of place.
But, like,
but
whether
he
he
was
got-
raised as an Earthling.
It doesn't change who he actually is, though. Like, he is a Kryptonian. He's not from Earth.
But he
So
sees
his-
himself as a member
So
of
he-
Earth.
Up until he needs to shoot some eye lasers, and then those Kryptonian genes come in real handy.
Speaking of which,
Designer Kryptonian genes.
the indestructible suit thing was super cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that when he put the suit on, it changed to be like his house. Because it was like, so in the comic, for those of you who didn't read it, there's a scene where he's on Brainiac's ship and he's fighting, and they say something about the indestructible armor of the Kryptonians because
Yeah.
they make a comment about how his cape is indestructible earlier in the
Right.
story. And so there is a suit in a case, in a display case, and he puts it on. And because he is of the house of Jor-El, he's the house of El, it automatically like turns into his Superman suit. And then when he grabs that spear from the other place, it like changes again. I thought that was cool.
It was.
The heritage thing made me think of that scene.
Yeah.
And that scene is really cool because it shows a unique way of him getting his suit. Traditionally, Ma Kent, Martha, sewed his suit, but that would get blown up all the time. So the fact that they're like, his suit is from Krypton, it's indestructible. And that's what Man of Steel did. He got it off of the Kryptonian ship from his father.
Right.
So anyway.
Anyway,
I would I would disagree. That he does at times identify with being out of place and being an alien, but ultimately, I think Clark.
but
is who he
technically,
is
if you think
because
about it, his
Clark.
alter ego is Clark. Because
Yes,
he was
when
born
he's Superman,
Kal-El.
he is living as Kal-El.
But then,
I can agree with that.
like Bruce was born Bruce and had to become Batman.
But once he's Batman, I don't believe that Bruce is the alter ego. Batman is who Bruce Wayne is. Bruce Wayne is the mask. When he goes to parties and he goes out on the town, Batman is who he is. He puts the facade of Bruce Wayne on and acts like a millionaire playboy when really he is Batman.
Right. So anyway,
Because he chooses to be.
I feel like this argument has went on long enough. And you guys can agree to disagree.
Agreed to disagree.
And talk about it off of the podcast.
Conflict is what makes this show interesting.
Yes, but when it goes on for too long.
Science.
For oolong.
For oolong.
Don't.
Yeah, science.
That was a throwback to you and Will.
I know.
Really getting into it. So, anyway, we can agree to disagree. I do agree with certain ideas you mentioned, though. I don't fully disagree, but I disagree on the Batman thing. That I fully do. Like Superman,
I think you're biased.
I am very biased. I love Batman, and I've read a bunch of it. But anyway, that doesn't mean I know everything. That doesn't mean I'm right. I hear you, I see you, and I appreciate you.
Well, I hope you see me.
My favorite scene was also the Jonathan and Martha stuff.
Yeah, that was so good.
It was so good seeing their plight, trying to have a baby and not being able to, and then, Clark coming from the sky, them finding a baby, him trying to figure out how to mislead the government, basically.
I know, right?
Because the government finds the rocket in this. They have the rocket. But then he's like, yeah, look, I found this alien, and it's like a mutated goat. It's got like extra legs. And he's like, here, this alien, and he put it in like a spacesuit.
Right, he did. That was hilarious.
Which I'm sure Ma Kent sewed up,
Of course.
And but that was funny, and they
Fastest
believed
seamstress
it.
in the West.
Yeah, they believed it because Lex was like, "Is that what you really look like?" So that whole all of the flashbacks where he's with Pa Kent when they get the cow, they have to like take the bull, and he throws him down, and then he picks it up and he's like, yeah, we'll have to say it got drunk. Or when he's talking about how he put the tractor on the like loan places,
yes,
roof.
The banks.
When he's like, yeah, I put the tractor on the bank roof. He's like, don't tell your mom. But it was just like, those were fun scenes.
They were.
The scenes with the Kents were really good. And they really established how Clark came to have the belief system and that he had.
Right.
So, and you had that emotional moment of him looking at the photos on the wall when he's leaving to move to Metropolis.
Right.
And he picks the photo of his parents grown and old, because in this they've passed away.
Correct.
And he doesn't take one of the ones when he's like a kid with them or anything. He takes them what they would have been like at the end of their life with him. And I thought that was cool. That whole thing surrounding Jonathan and Martha was really well done.
Really well done.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. So, did you have a favorite character?
Can I say Crypto the super dog?
Oh, you son of a gun.
Was he in it?
He was. He jumped into the portal to stop the the guys from the
Did
null
you say for
zone,
5 minutes? Or 5
zero
pages?
zone, whatever zone it was.
The Phantom Zone.
The Phantom Zone, yeah. To come
That's
out.
right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot.
So he's in the Phantom Zone with those.
Which is the ghost that watches over him.
Right. Maybe. I don't remember that scene for some reason.
The one in the park?
Yeah.
It's because it's one panel and it comes out of nowhere.
That's probably why I don't remember.
I'm telling you, I turned a page back going, did I miss something? Did I skip something? What is this?
Are the pages stuck together?
And I was reading digitally. You know it's bad when you flip back reading digitally, going, did I double tap? Like I thought maybe I skipped a page. No, I didn't. Is Crypto... were you being serious?
I mean, that was really my runner-up, to be honest. No. So I'm gonna go completely out of left field here. Brainiac.
Ah, really?
Yeah, because he was just trying to preserve. Sure, Why not? Let's go with that. Because he was just trying to preserve these worlds that were going to get destroyed.
I feel you are also biased in this because you're an IT, which is what your favorite thing is the internet.
Right. And he was going to preserve the internet. But no, I think that is a worthy thing to do, to try to preserve these things.
That if a
something
civilization, if a world is going to die, and you can take a city and preserve the entire knowledge of the human race in this case,
Right.
because he had dozens or hundreds
yes.
of worlds in this,
Like 200.
Because something else
Earth
was
was
coming for these worlds that he couldn't stop.
which is clearly set up for the climax,
Right.
Probably.
I think Earth was like 205 or 206.
No, I think that's a good pick. That's
right. And that's, yeah.
You're saying especially from an analytical, unfeeling mind, his purpose of trying to preserve worlds and their knowledge and their who they are is noble, is what you're saying.
That is what I'm
other
saying.
than letting them be erased from all knowledge.
Yes.
I can understand that. I can get behind that.
And then I have a third one, but I won't say it just in case one of you two pick them.
Oh, well, then you have to mention it if we don't.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, come back to me.
Okay, mine, I don't actually remember what his name is, but it's the camera guy that follows Lois around.
Jimmy Olsen?
Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah,
You
that
didn't
guy.
remember Jimmy?
I didn't remember Clark's parents.
Okay. I get it. Whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like him.
I got your back, Will.
Yeah. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll be the snooty know-it-all on this.
His favorite's going to be Lex Luthor. But no, he was a very down to earth character.
Yeah, Jimmy's
And he
great.
was best friends with Clark.
Best friends with Clark. He had that moment there at the end where he's like, I wonder if he can hear text messages as he texts.
That was
texts
funny.
the
That was
SOS.
good, yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, he can hear text messages.
Yeah. Jimmy's good. I always like
And
Jimmy.
he's a good partner to Lois, because Lois is cutthroat, get out of my way, Smallville. And Jimmy's the one that grounds her a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah, good pick.
Good
Jimmy
pick.
Olsen is a great pick. I like that none of us are picking Clark. Because, as Will just stated, my favorite was Lex Luthor.
What? Really? I wondered.
All right, you're going to have to explain this one.
I said it as a joke, and then afterwards I'm like, it actually could be.
When you said it, I almost whispered, "You're right." I almost did. Yeah. How funny is that?
That is hilarious.
Good call. Good call,
Yeah,
Will.
Nux.
But my favorite was Lex Luthor. I didn't know that sitting down to record the podcast, but I was thinking back over everything that we've been talking about, and what I like about Lex is how he's depicted in this. I like that his megalomania is that he thinks he's somehow superior to everybody else is always ongoing, that he tries to usurp command over anything that he's around. He constantly tries to negotiate with Brainiac, thinking he's trying to save the human race, because ultimately Lex Luthor wants to be Superman. The idea that drives Lex against Clark is that Clark is an alien and that he can't be trusted because he's not from Earth. It doesn't matter that he was raised by the most down-home, Earth-loving couple ever. Lex Luthor and his hubris believes he should be the ultimate one that protects the humanity. And I like how he was depicted. He was a total jerk all the time. He hated Superman, didn't even see him as a person, but as an it, as you said.
Right.
And at the end, you find out that Lex Luthor is the one that's been tipping off Clark Kent for his news articles to take down these people that are bad, even though Lex Luthor is a bad dude.
Right.
I did really like that scene.
That was a good
Yes,
scene.
I'm like, oh, that's so funny.
I
What
love
an idiot.
that Lex Luthor is helping Clark be this biting journalist because he believes he's trying. Obviously, Lex is going to have ulterior motives to taking out people that might be competitors or somehow in his way of things. That's probably a big part of it. But there's also a part of Lex Luthor as a villain and as just the character that he is, that he does believe in humanity at its greatest, and that he, like, just everything about how he was depicted, I think he's deplorable as a person. Like, I'm not saying I like him as a person, but I am saying I really enjoyed his depiction and how he came across in this comic book.
As a 2D piece of art, he did a pretty good job.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah, Lex was my favorite based on his depiction and how he played out it through this plot line and his connections.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who was your honorary third?
Okay. It was John.
Kent?
No. The guy who built the steel suit.
John Irons.
Yes, John Irons.
John Henry
Yes,
Irons.
that guy.
His side stories were good.
They were amazing.
They were.
I wanted to read more about him.
Do you know that he is the superhero known as Steel?
Nope.
Okay. So Steel does have like a suit that makes him super, and John Henry Irons, and he uses a big John Henry
Hammer.
like smashing railroad spikes
Heck yeah.
hammer, and to fight. And that's like, he's been a character for years and years. He was a big part in the death and return of Superman and the reign of Superman's. Steel was a huge character back then in the 90s.
I really liked him.
If you like John Irons,
Yeah.
we'll have to look into some Steel.
Sure.
We'll have to look up some good Steel
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah, that was mine.
But yeah, he is like a scientist that builds a suit,
Right.
which go figure that Pat would like a scientist.
And technology.
Did I have an honorable mention
I don't know.
person? I did like moments of Clark. I really liked when he was fighting Brainiac and he's like, I don't give up.
Right. No. Right.
So-
So I did want to make sure that everybody in podcast land knows that Crypto the Super Dog was on my list of people that I really liked. I was not a joke.
I believed you.
Okay.
I knew you were being...
I'm just making sure. You know how people are with pets.
I know.
I'm just making sure.
I knew you were being serious.
Yes.
I knew you were.
Because it was amazing how the dog sacrificed himself
To save the family.
to save the family.
Yes.
And let them get Clark away.
Yep. It's true. It was a good moment.
It was.
Again, lots of little good moments.
Lots of little good moments.
It's just not consistently good moments.
Right.
But, you know, they added up to something. I thought the ending was good with him getting the key to the city.
Yeah.
And like,
And looking
and-
for a big door to put it in.
yeah, that's funny. But that's also a joke because the Fortress of Solitude has a giant key that only, because of Superman's strength, only he can lift it. So his door at the Fortress of Solitude is basically like impenetrable because it takes a key that only Superman
Do
can.
you think he puts it under a rock when he goes?
I'm pretty sure he buries it in the snow.
Actually, there's a episode in the Justice League, I think, where he reforges the key, and it looks like just like a regular house key, and he literally keeps it under the mat at his front. And he in a scene, he's taking Lois to the Fortress of Solitude, and he lifts it up, and he's like, "Yeah, that's the key," or whatever. She's like, "Really? Shouldn't you keep like the key to your fortress somewhere safe?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead and try and pick it up."
Because it's so dense that she can't.
And she's
That's
like, she walks over and
hilarious.
tries to pick up like an ordinary looking house key. He's like, "Yeah, I forged this myself in the heart of it, like a dwarf star or something, like a neutron star."
So it's like
It's
Thor's
like-
hammer. It's basically
Yeah,
like
right.
the house
Super
key
heavy.
equivalent of Thor's hammer, of Mjolnir.
And then I think Lois is like, "Well, I hope it doesn't fall out of your pocket when you're flying around."
That's funny.
That is amazing.
Good writing.
Yeah.
That's good writing.
That's good writing right there.
So, did you have a least favorite part?
Of course I did. And you already know what it is.
It's the part from the people from the future.
It is the time
That's-
travel crap that was just weird.
Yeah.
And that was your least favorite part.
Yep.
And that was my least favorite.
It was just so out of nowhere. Like,
I know. And it convoluted. And because Grant Morrison can't tell a straight story.
It just
He just
didn't
can't.
make any sense.
Anyway, so we all
Or
had the
does
same
he?
least favorite part.
yeah.
The unchronological mishmash storytelling moments of Grant Morrison.
Yes.
Runner up least favorite. who decides, hey, my family's going to die. Let's jump into a phantom realm full of bad guys.
I mean,
the logic of saying the Phantom Realm is safe from this isn't bad.
No, like, hey, I don't have a vessel to get off this planet fast enough. Let's just jump through a portal. Pretty good idea. But then, like, the fact that he's the one who put all those guys in there. So he
Right.
had the knowledge of, he knew what was going to happen.
Like locking yourself in a prison with the inmates you put there
which is
Yeah.
to protect yourself.
which is
And
like,
your family, like
Probably why he didn't take that route.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That and Crypto the dog saved him.
Maybe
That was
he
that
didn't
movie.
expect all of those guys to be waiting there at the portal.
I mean,
He opened it up thinking,
what else do they have to do?
I don't know. Have you watched Lego Batman? The Phantom Zone's in that.
I don't think I have.
Oh, we're going to have to
Maybe
watch
I
that
have.
sometime.
I don't know. Whatever.
Have you seen Batman save a city with crunches?
No.
Okay, then you haven't watched the movie.
No.
We'll watch it sometime.
Okay.
Wonder if there's a comic we could do an issue.
Lego Batman.
We
I
could do it.
hope not. I don't want to read that. I like the movie, but
You know what we
it's
could
enough.
You know what we could do Lego Batman wise? We could get Lego Batman kits and then just put them together while talking on the podcast.
That would be so noisy. Like
I know, right?
looking through Lego bricks. Although I'm not opposed to building Lego Batman sets.
I thought that might be the case.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Lego and Batman. What have you done? It's like you knew.
It's like I knew.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Least favorite person? Least
Le-
favorite
Lex
character?
Luthor.
Because of how selfish he was?
No, because of how he was claimed multiple times, not him, people around him claimed that he's extremely smart. And
Yes.
he did a bunch of dumb stuff, in my opinion.
Wow, Pat thinks he's smarter than Lex Luthor.
Obviously. I have more hair.
Move aside, Lex.
Lex Luthor is considered the smartest person in the DC universe.
Right.
Yeah.
So why was he talking
Batman is
to
the second smartest. I believe.
talking to an alien intelligence and believing him over anything that Superman is doing?
He
It
hates
did-
Superman.
I understand, but it didn't make any sense. If the reason that he hates Superman
Is that he's an alien?
is that he is an alien, then talking to another alien thing, he should have hated that as well.
But he believed that Brainiac was coming and bringing some kind of destruction or problem. Because he knew something was coming, and he was trying to negotiate with Brainiac.
But why did he even believe him? He's an alien.
Maybe it was
He's
because of
really
the
opposed to aliens. Do you see what I'm saying here, though?
Yeah, but like, dude, how many people that are racist don't show that they have flaws in their racist thinking?
A good
Like-
reason to not like him.
You could genuinely dislike somebody who's African American and say that you have no problem with Hispanics, but that doesn't mean that you're not racist.
So another good reason to not like him.
Yeah, because he's a terrible person.
Terrible person.
Yep, I agree with that.
Amazing.
He's my favorite character because he was depicted so terribly.
It was so bad, it was good.
Will.
What about you, Will? What you got, buddy?
He's going to say Clark Kent.
Dude,
I'm gonna say mustache guy, John, other John. He gets put in the suit.
John Corbin,
John, there you
Yeah.
who also known as Metallo, the man with a kryptonite heart.
Oh yeah, he comes back. It's a
Yeah,
shame.
so as somebody that watched,
Put him in a bucket with Osriel.
did you? Wow, he really didn't like him.
go. No, he did.
I mean, that might be a bit excessive, but for now he's
So, did you guys ever watch during the same era of the Justice League and Batman the Animated Series? There is a Superman cartoon called The New Adventures of Superman. Same art style, like vibe. It's
Yeah, I think I remember that.
really
I don't know
good.
if I really watched it. But I remember it.
Metallo's in a few episodes. He's kind of a tragic villain, but you know how they kept saying he didn't have a heart anymore.
Yes.
Like they said that
At
like
the end. Yeah.
what they said it earlier too. Like it was a couple of times.
Yeah.
2-3.
But that's because he becomes Metallo and they put a chunk of kryptonite and he does fight Superman. He's like one of his main villains.
Okay.
So anyway,
It was
Yeah, I was like his almost like Pat was saying about Lex, what was his real motivation? Like the only reason he did that was for Lois.
Yeah,
Chris
he was
dropped his phone twice now.
I think 3 times actually.
Yeah.
Is that 3?
Yeah. So, yeah, Butterfingers night, but yeah, Lois was like the only thing he ever seemed to care
It's because he grew back the mustache just so that she could see it, and it was just dumb. I'm like, this is kind of cringy to read.
Well, it was a bit tragic as well that he decided to fuse himself with the suit at the exact same time that Brainiac was taking over all the machines.
I think his origin is supposed to be tragic.
It would make sense.
I don't think he's supposed to be a villain that you just go, oh, this is a bad guy. He's supposed to be somebody that you're like, that kind of sucks for you, dude.
Right. So I think he was kind of screwed up.
Yeah.
Trying to fight the robot and just, yeah.
Yeah, there's one of the
Brainiac.
or the internet, or
The
Right,
collector.
the internet. He was fighting the internet when he connected to the suit. So, all of his words were coherent. It
So-
makes sense.
did I have a least favorite character?
But
in
I
this?
digress.
I didn't like that detective that you could tell was totally shady. He was kind of irritating.
No, he's the one that raided Clark's apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the one that was
Yeah.
like protecting the guy that Clark was writing the articles about.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was just kind of like,
Glenn Gooley or whatever his name was.
He
this
was,
guy.
to be honest, he was so forgettable for me.
That's part of the problem with him is it's like he was an antagonist, like a minor antagonist for an arc that was just supposed to be kind of irritating. And I was like, how much did he really add to the story? Did he add to the story really?
They were probably corrupt, but it more felt like they had just given up. Because he was like, you're too young. You don't understand how it really works.
Maybe so.
And I'm not saying they were
Jaded.
corrupt.
He was jaded.
Right. I would say he was jaded.
Yeah, and it was just, the character was whatever. I feel like there was so much other stuff going on. I questioned what the point was.
You see,
really
for that
to
one,
have him. Maybe it was the contrast of somebody who has been there being jaded. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe.
I wondered if they were going to turn him into like a Gordon archetype character.
Well, I mean, he quit at the end.
That's what I was saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's where it was completely pointless because at the end he's like, I quit when they're fighting against the pointless robot spiders.
Robot
Well,
spiders.
he quits when he sees the giant Superman. When he's like, when we're all done with this, if we get out of it, I'm
quit.
resigning. And then he sees Superman, who he's been toe to toe with, and sees that he's like towering at that moment. And he's like, I resign now. Whatever, I'm done. Also, what was with the bartending scene? Was that the weapons dealer dude with the case who served him his drink?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
So really, we do, even if we didn't love this, part of me wants to keep going.
Me too.
Because I want to know how it ends. And if it's only 10 more issues, that's not that bad for
not
me
that
to
bad.
find out the answer. Will's like, it's bad enough for me to find. So anyway,
I might find out.
you guys have
I might
anything else
not.
you wanted to mention, talk about?
I had something about an hour ago, and I can't remember what it is. So
We kept arguing about alter egos, and he had to break us up.
it probably had something to do with Batman. I don't know.
Is this? I think
Something to do with Bat. Well, this isn't a Batman comic.
That's why I can't remember.
Oh.
you think
Yeah.
we'd be safe to name this issue Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Because we get into an
I
argument
kinda
about
do.
it. Wow.
I love it.
Well, you out in podcast land will already know what we named it.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
this
That's why I'm
point
like, it's safe to
next
talk
week.
about.
So, whatever. I covered everything. Sorry, I was looking at my notes.
Oh,
and
I should do that. I did make some.
Did you make some notes?
I did.
So, were there any other things you wanted to point out? Anything you didn't like that you didn't mention, or anything that you really liked that you didn't mention?
Not really.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, there is something else that I wanted to mention.
There we
I
go.
remembered what it is.
All right.
I really like the art style when Clark went from Clark to Superman, how much that character changed, but was still the same.
Yes. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that? I found that kind of jarring because I'm like, I didn't know Superman had the ability to manipulate his facial structure.
But
Hey.
he didn't. It was mainly in the hair and the glasses
Yeah.
that changed how he looked in the artwork.
Which
it
is
was
the
really cool.
which is the whole idea.
I know it is, but
No,
I really
I'm-
liked how that was represented.
But yeah, like how he was kind of shaggy and his hair was and like his glasses were big. But then
Right.
when he was Superman, he really like cut it back and
Pulled the hair out of his eyes and
yep.
used
it made a
product.
difference.
He had to, unless that's a kryptonite or a krypton.
Yeah, so he can just like
Kryptonian,
harden
thank you.
his hair.
Right.
My hair has been hardened.
It's possible.
Well, they said he couldn't
It's
cut it.
bulletproof.
I mean, he has a solar panel, so
I do like the
He has a
part
solar panel.
where he says something about the rumors and they shoot the bullet at him and he catches it and he's like, the rumors are true.
I know, that was
was a
cool.
good line. Like, that was a good moment. Because they're like, is he bulletproof? You know, like, yep. And he's like, yep.
yep.
Oh, another good line was like,
Or when he
Someone
gets
was
shot
like-
by the tank.
yeah, someone had said nothing's faster than a bullet, and Clark goes, "Well, I'll up you one and give you light."
Yeah, his vision,
Right.
his heat vision is
But
faster.
it was a
than-
pretty
it was a clever retort.
Yeah, be
Yes.
like the speed of light.
I thought Patrick would like that because he basically retorted with science.
Science.
I mean, yeah. It was good. What did I just think of? I don't remember.
Oh no, not again.
Oh, no.
Rewind it a minute.
Oh, no. It
Light.
was during the
See, we just had to go
the torture scene.
Yeah.
Why do they always depict needles breaking when it hits stuff that it can't go through? Because that's not how needles work.
You mean because they should bend?
Yeah, or something like they
Because
don't
because
just
it's
break.
it's so strong and dense that even things that bend just shatter.
Shatter.
Because
I was just
here's the thing.
just rolled my eyes. When I
It's
saw
the
that.
rule of cool for comic books. It's whatever brings the point across more. And something shattering is more dramatic than something
It is more
bending.
dramatic.
Unless it's like an I-beam. If an I-beam shattered, people would go, I don't think that's how I-beams work.
I'm pretty sure that was just a bad mix. Get a good
Bad
wrong
steel.
That was the wrong alloy. Too much carbon.
That'd be like hitting a nail against the stone wall and it just shatters.
Shattering.
Instead of
Yeah. There are some
bending or
things
something.
where, because we've seen it in fiction, we're more accepting of it.
Yeah.
And there are some
I
things
know.
that we use in real life too often that we're like, no, we
Wait,
know
are you
that's
saying
not.
Pat uses needles really often?
I can't
Patrick.
because every time I put them against my skin, they
They
shatter.
Oh, shoot.
I don't
I'm gonna have
even
to
have
edit
to.
that out. We can't let a secret out, Will.
I don't even have to. I
Keep it
don't even have
in.
to try to push it in. I just tap it against my skin.
Well,
It
that's
just
like-
shatters.
That's like I
like,
enjoy when they show how Superman shaves, and it's that he bounces his heat vision off of the mirror and
Off
he
of the mirror,
like shaves
right.
his face. But the question is, how does he cut his hair?
The other question is,
Kryptonite scissors.
the other question is, what does his back wall of his bathroom look like?
I thought you were going to say, what does his back look like? He has another mirror to shave the hair off his.
That's not where I was going, but that's hilarious.
Kryptonians are like the Italians in space. They just,
They get-
they're just super hairy.
Aliens in space.
it feels like Italian Spider-Man just met Superman.
Italian Spider-Man. That is a
dang
reference
it.
I didn't think we'd have on this podcast. Write in if you know what Italian Spider-Man is at
Yeah.
Longbox at guyswithissues.com.
Christoph will. He should. He didn't email us this week,
Does he know what it is?
doesn't he?
I don't know.
Anybody that knows you should know.
I don't know if that's true. You know how much I talk about things that I enjoy?
We've now spoiled that he's also Italian Spider-Man.
I know.
He's an indestructible Italian Spider-Man.
That's terrifying.
Okay, anyway, this has gone off the rails. We're going to bring it back. Get it to
This
the
has
people.
gone off the rails a few times.
Listen. Not totally, though. It was... Why are you giving me that look,
It's
Patrick?
still a good show.
Oh, I didn't say it wasn't.
This is what our viewers expect.
Listeners.
Our single listener.
Our viewers.
Our listener.
Well, listener, if you ever find video evidence of this podcast, I will commend you.
And then
Anyway.
also stick the cops on you because we're sitting in a room
And ask you
Wow.
what AI you used to generate it.
Ooh. It's like
Ooh.
Minority Report at that point.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Except
I'm not going to... Nope, we're moving on
We are
before I
moving
say
on.
something I shouldn't. So, out of 5 bottled cities, you like that?
Ah, that's good, yeah.
yeah, let's do
I
it.
thought of it a little bit ago when I was talking about Candor. I was like, oh, we could do bottled civilizations.
Sure. Yeah.
So out of 5 bottled cities, what would you give it?
I think I'm going to give it a 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so not bad.
No,
Like you enjoyed it for the
I
most
did.
part. Enough to keep reading.
I would, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I might have to read all 18 before I would recommend it or not, but
Of course. Yeah, because where it's at right now, it would be a hard recommendation.
right.
It would.
I agree. Which is why I give it a 4.
Will?
Yeah, I'd go more like 2.5.
Wow, you liked it
Wow.
that much less than X-Men? You gave X-Men a 3.
Yeah.
I guess he likes the exposition more than
Hey,
time traveling weird
At least
scenes.
it was a coherent storyline.
Okay, no, he didn't. Did he like the exposition? Because here's the thing: you almost quit X-Men. Did you almost quit this,
Didn't we all give
or did you
X-Men a
just,
3?
or did you just dislike? We gave the second part a 3. All
Right.
3 of us did. I want to know what he gave exposition.
Well, let's
first
look it
one.
up.
So, Will, go ahead and keep talking.
I don't remember what it
No,
Will was
he
gonna
gave
say.
he gave X-Men a 2, so he did like this better.
okay.
Than,
Okay.
He gave it 2.5.
yeah, he liked the second part of X-Men slightly better. But he,
That is true.
yep.
And if I would compare the first part of X-Men to this, I would say this is a little bit better.
Yeah,
Which
that's how you rated it.
obviously
Yeah,
reflects.
It-
Good job.
we don't usually look up the ratings, but I had it at hand. So, yeah, okay.
Because it was on his phone, and his phone is in his hand.
It was this time.
Yeah,
I picked it up off the floor.
amazing.
So, what would it take for you to feel better about this? I'm just curious.
If it was a bit better structured,
So, it was the structure.
literally
it was the same
like
thing I
it-
don't like.
Yeah,
about
it was literally just like so jarring. It took you like all over. Like I was getting whiplash.
I can totally get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I debated my rating on this. I could maybe, even though I have said I don't really enjoy the way Grant Morrison writes his story, his plotting,
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of breadcrumbs that are set up.
There are.
And part of me would lean towards a 4 like you.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, I feel like there were enough good moments and I can see that this is going somewhere.
Correct.
But it also is enough Grant Morrison that I struggle to, like, there are just times where I'm like, and you can hear the severity of my eye roll. Okay.
Right.
So I could almost give it a 4. I debated a 4, but I'm going to do a 3.5 then, because it's just it's better than a 3 to me. 3's average. 3 means it's fine, but it's a little more than that because I actually read like the first 2 pages of the next issue, which is totally unrelated. It starts on a different Earth in the multiverse with a different Superman meeting a Lois that comes out of a portal that is like at war with people. Totally out of left field stuff.
Oh, that's fun.
Have no idea how it plays into anything. Who knows? But again, Grant Morrison, very Grant Morrison. But Grant Morrison can do a good job. I've enjoyed some stuff of his. And I enjoyed parts of this. So 3.5. I think if I really enjoyed this, if I finished it, it isn't going to reach a 5.
You're not going to recommend it. Oh, wait, no, that's me.
That's you.
Right.
Because I've recommended things that I wouldn't give a 5 to, but I might think you would enjoy it or something.
Sure.
But, I mean, I'm the one that told you that I thought you'd like Saga.
And I do.
And I don't like Saga. So, could see my opinion in the end being like a 4 or 4.5 if it's really strong.
Sure.
But if it has too much of the weird Grant Morrison, it's going to stay at 3.5. It's just his style. His style is not for me very often.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So we got anything else?
Because he always has weird stuff. And if it's not weird, it's dark. Like that Savannah from that's like, I just want to cut her kind of thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's just, he's just all over the place with that nonsense. Anyway, sorry.
It's all right.
I don't have anything else. And we didn't get an email. So we don't have to cover emails. So we would love to hear from you guys. Send us an email.
At Longbox.
Well, we're going to plug it. You already said it once.
Guys,
go ahead. Longbox, yeah.
Com.
I'm going to have you do the email segment. But anyway. I think we know what time it is then.
It's time for me to tell everybody that I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris. And we are Guys with Issues. And that is all.
That's all we are. Just guys
Just
with
some
issues.
guys with
Just some
issues.
guys with issues. And microphones.
You can catch Guys with Issues anywhere you find your favorite podcasts.
Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists to follow along, and get to know us better.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts. Send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listener.
If we plan a little bit of the banter, it will save a lot of bit of the editing.
Okay, so
This new term he just coined.
A lot of it.
A lot of bit of the...
a lot of bit of editing.
Not a little bit.
A lot of bit.
A lot of bit.
sounds like a lyric in a country song.
A lot of bit.
Got some dirt and a dog and a lot of bit of beer.
Yeah. See? It writes itself.
All country songs, right?
Right?